My name is June Bellamy. I'm 27. Last Tuesday at 9:47 a.m., I was sitting at my desk debugging a client dashboard when my phone rang for the sixth time in 12 minutes. My mother, again. June Elizabeth Bellamy, you pick up this phone right now, her voice cracked through my voicemail. Your sister needs help and you're too busy playing on your computer to answer. This roof is leaking into Vanessa's nursery, and you know she has the twins. $4,000, June. That's all we need. $4,000 for the emergency contractor. I stared at my laptop screen. The prototype I'd spent 8 hours building yesterday blurred. My hands were shaking so badly I had to set down my coffee mug before I dropped it. I know you have it, my mother continued, her voice rising. Don't pretend you don't. You're sitting in that apartment doing your little freelance projects while your sister's ceiling is collapsing. Your father would be ashamed of you. That's when something inside me went very, very quiet. I picked up on the seventh ring. Mom, I'm working. I have a client presentation in 20 minutes. Oh, you're working. She drew the word out like it was a joke. Vanessa is standing in her baby's room with buckets catching water, and you're working. The contractor needs a deposit by noon, or he can't come until next week. Do you want your niece and nephew sleeping in a moldy room? What contractor? Give me his number and I'll call him directly. You don't trust your own mother now, after everything I've done for you? Mom, I just want to verify. Fine, fine. Don't help. Let your sister suffer. I'll figure it out myself, like I always do. The line went dead. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. I sat there staring at my phone for a full minute. Then I opened my banking app, my savings account, $142,847.23. I'd been saving for 3 years. Every client payment, every dollar I didn't spend on going out or buying new clothes or taking vacations. I was saving for a house, my own house, a place that was mine. My phone buzzed. A text from Vanessa. Mom says you won't help with the roof. Seriously, June? You make like $100,000 and can't spare $4,000 for your own niece and nephew? Dad would be so disappointed in you right now. I closed my eyes, counted to 10, opened them, typed back, send me the contractor's information and I'll pay him directly. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, Mom already called him. He needs cash. Can you Venmo me? Something about that made my stomach drop. But I did it anyway. I always did it anyway. I Venmo'd Vanessa $4,200 at 10:03 a.m. that Tuesday morning. The note I wrote said, "For roof emergency contractor, save the receipt." She sent back a heart emoji. That was it. Let me take you back 13 years to the last normal day I had with my father. I was 14. We were sitting in his truck outside Home Depot on a Saturday morning in September. He'd just taught me how to read a tape measure correctly, how to check if a board was warped, how to calculate materials for a project. You're good at this, Junebug, he'd said, using the nickname only he used. You see problems and you solve them. You don't just sit around waiting for someone else to fix things. He'd bought me my own small toolbox that day. Red metal. My initials in silver Sharpie on the lid. J-E-B. When you're older, he'd said, you're going to do something with your brain that matters, something you build yourself, and nobody's going to be able to take that away from you because you'll have the proof, the receipts, the records. That's how you protect yourself in this world, Junebug. You document everything. I still had that toolbox. It was in my closet. I hadn't opened it in years. 3 weeks after that Saturday, my father had a heart attack at his construction site. He was 44. I was 14. Vanessa was 11. My mother was 39, and suddenly the sole parent of 2 daughters, and she decided very quickly which daughter she could count on and which daughter needed to be coddled. The first betrayal happened the day after my father's funeral. I was sitting in the kitchen at 6:14 a.m., unable to sleep, when my mother came downstairs. She looked at me, really looked at me, and something in her face changed. "You look just like him," she'd said. "Same stubborn jaw, same critical eyes, always watching, always judging." "Mom, I'm not—" "Don't!" She held up her hand. "Your sister is falling apart. Vanessa needs us. She needs me. And you'll be fine. You're like him. You don't need anyone." I was 14 years old. I needed my mother. But I didn't say that. I just nodded. The pattern started slowly. Vanessa got the bigger bedroom, the newer laptop, the car when she turned 16. I got hand-me-downs and told I should be grateful. Vanessa struggled in school. I helped her with homework while my mother sat next to her rubbing her back. I got straight A's. My mother said, "Well, school comes easy for you. It's not an accomplishment." When I was 17, I started teaching myself web design using free tutorials on YouTube. When I was 19, I landed my first freelance client, a local coffee shop that needed a website. They paid me $800. I cried when the payment hit my account. My mother saw the deposit notification on my laptop screen. "That's nice, honey. Can you help Vanessa with her sorority dues? She's $400 short this month." I helped. I always helped. College was community college for me, paid with scholarships and my freelance work. Vanessa got the state university and an apartment my mother co-signed for. "She needs the full experience," my mother had said. "You're fine with online classes. You're independent." By 24, I was making $95,000 a year as a full-time freelance UX designer. I had 5 regular clients. I built dashboards and prototypes, and I worked from my modest one-bedroom apartment. I saved every penny I could. By 25, Vanessa had graduated with a marketing degree she never used, married Derek, a pharmaceutical sales rep who made decent money but spent it faster, and gotten pregnant with twins. And my mother had started calling me her emergency fund. The roof leak was supposed to be an emergency. That's what my mother said. What Vanessa confirmed. What Derek backed up when he called me 3 days later to thank me for saving them. But 2 months after I sent that money, I was at Aunt Margot's house for Sunday dinner. Aunt Margot is my father's sister, the only person in the family who ever asked how I was doing instead of what I could do. We were washing dishes when she said casually, "How's Vanessa's roof holding up? I heard they had quite a scare." "It's fixed," I said. Emergency contractor came. Aunt Margot paused, her hands in the soapy water. "That's strange. I ran into Ruth Bachman at the grocery store. She's their neighbor, you know. And she mentioned they'd had some workers out there in April doing preventive maintenance. She said Vanessa told her they wouldn't need another roof inspection for years." My hands stopped moving. "April? That was 7 months ago." "Yes, well." Aunt Margot dried a plate slowly. "Maybe it was a different issue. I'm sure your mother wouldn't—" She stopped, looked at me, really looked at me. "Oh, June. No." I drove home in silence, pulled up my bank records, started going backwards. 3 years of emergencies, $31,400 total. Vanessa's car repair, $2,800. I'd never seen the receipt. Mom's medical bills, $6,200. She'd never mentioned which bills. Vanessa's emergency dental work, $3,400. She'd posted Instagram photos that same week showing her at a spa weekend. Derek's temporary layoff help, $4,800. I checked his LinkedIn. He'd never been laid off. And now the roof, $4,200. I sat in my car in my apartment parking lot for 20 minutes, just sat there, the engine ticking as it cooled. Then I did what my father taught me. I documented everything. I made a spreadsheet. Every request, every date, every dollar amount, every excuse given. I cross-referenced it with Vanessa's social media posts. With my mother's stories, with what Derek had told me versus what I'd been told, it didn't add up. None of it added up. The next day, I called the roofing company my mother had mentioned, Peterson and Sons Contracting. The receptionist was cheerful. Yes, we did work for the Kinsley residents back in April. Routine maintenance? Is there something else they need? The Kinsley residents, I repeated. Vanessa's married name. That was in April? Yes, ma'am, let me check. April 17th. They paid in full. We gave them a 10-year warranty. Is this regarding a follow-up? I hung up. My face was burning so hot I could feel my pulse in my teeth. I didn't confront anyone. Not yet. I just stopped answering my phone as quickly, started saying, "Let me check my budget," instead of, "Yes, of course." My mother noticed within a week. June. Vanessa needs help with Christmas gifts for the twins. Just $600. Are you really going to make your sister beg? I need to see receipts for the roof repair first. Silence on the other end of the line. Then, "Excuse me?" The roof repair. The $4,200 emergency. I want to see the contractor's receipt and the warranty paperwork. How dare you? My mother's voice went ice cold. How dare you question your sister after we've asked you for help? This is about that roof? After everything we've been through? After your father? Don't! My voice came out harder than I intended. Don't use Dad. Your father would be ashamed that you've become so selfish, so cold, just like... She stopped. Like him? I finished. You were going to say like him, weren't you? She hung up. That's when the rumors started. I heard it from 3 different people over the next month. Vanessa was telling people I'd refused to help with a medical emergency. My mother was telling her church group I'd cut off the family because I was too good for them now. Derek posted something vague on Facebook about family members who forget where they came from. I didn't defend myself. I couldn't, not without proof, and I wasn't ready yet. I kept working, kept saving, kept searching for houses online late at night when I couldn't sleep. 6 months after the roof incident, I found it. A small 3-bedroom house on Hawthorne Street. Built in 1987, needed some work, but solid bones. The price? $285,000. I'd saved $142,000. I needed $143,000 for a 20% down payment and closing costs. I got a raise from my biggest client in February. I took on an extra project in March. By April, I had $145,680 saved. On May 3rd, I put in an offer. All cash, no mortgage, no cosigner. No one who could ever use it against me or take it away. The seller accepted the next day. I closed on May 28th. Aunt Margot came as my witness. She was the only person I told. She cried when I handed her the extra key. Your father would be so proud, she whispered. Don't tell Mom, I said. Not yet. She understood. She always understood. I spent June and July moving in slowly, piece by piece. I worked from my new house, my own house, setting up my office in the 2nd bedroom with the window that got morning light. I painted the kitchen yellow. I planted tomatoes in the backyard. I bought a ridiculous, expensive coffee maker because I could. My mother called every few weeks. The requests got bigger. $1,200 for Vanessa's credit card emergency, $900 for Derek's car repair, $2,100 for my mother's property tax shortfall. I said no to all of them. Politely, firmly. No. You've changed, my mother said in August. You used to care about family. I still care, I said. I'm just not a bank anymore. Your sister is struggling and you're being cruel. I don't even recognize you. I didn't tell her I'd been struggling for 3 years while funding Vanessa's down payment on a house I'd never been invited to see. The public humiliation came in September. I was at a coffee shop on Northwest 23rd Avenue meeting with a potential client, a woman named Patricia who ran a nonprofit. We were going over design mock-ups on my laptop when my mother walked in. I saw her see me, saw her make the decision. She walked straight to our table. June, we need to talk. Mom, I'm in a meeting. This can't wait. Vanessa is at the hospital. Derek's mother had a stroke, and they need $3,000 for the deductible, and you're not answering your phone. Patricia looked uncomfortable, started gathering her things. Mom, I said quietly, I'm working. We can talk later. Working. She said it like it was a disease. You're always working. Too busy for your family. Your sister is in crisis and you're sitting here drinking a $7 latte pretending you're some kind of businesswoman. Something clicked in me then. Something hardened. I looked at Patricia. I'm sorry. Can you give us one moment? Patricia nodded, moved to a table across the room. I stood up, kept my voice level. Mom, I'm not giving you $3,000. I'm not giving you $300. I'm not giving you anything. And if you ever show up at my workplace again, I'll ask you to leave. My mother's face went white, then red. You ungrateful, after everything I've done for you. What have you done for me? I asked, not angry, just genuinely curious. She opened her mouth, closed it. Her eyes filled with tears. I raised you. I kept a roof over your head after your father died. And this is how you repay me? By embarrassing me in public? You're embarrassing yourself, I said. Now please leave. She left. The entire coffee shop was silent. Patricia came back slowly. I'm so sorry, I said. That was... My mother is like that too, Patricia said quietly. Controlled me with guilt for years. I finally set boundaries when I was 35. You're braver than I was. She smiled. Now, let's talk about this website design. I really like what you've done here. We finished the meeting. She hired me. The project was $12,000. I started the next week. That night, I opened the closet in my new house and took out my father's red toolbox. Inside was the tape measure we'd used together, a level, some pencils, and underneath it all, an envelope I'd never noticed before. My hands were shaking as I opened it. The envelope was addressed to me in my father's handwriting. The postmark was dated 2 days before his heart attack. Inside was a letter. One page, college-ruled paper, written in blue pen. I sat down on my bedroom floor and read it. Junie Bug, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and your mother is probably already making you feel like you owe her something. I need you to know, you don't. I've been watching how she treats you versus Vanessa. I've tried to talk to her about it. She doesn't hear me. She sees you as strong and Vanessa as fragile, so she gives Vanessa everything and expects you to take nothing. That's not fair. That's not love. I've set up something for you. There's a college fund in your name, $40,000. Your mother doesn't know about it. The documentation is with my lawyer, Marcus Brennan. His office is at 847 Kimball Avenue. I've left instructions that the fund is accessible only by you, only when you turn 21, and only for education or housing. Use it for something that's yours. Don't let her guilt you into giving it to Vanessa. Don't let her use me as a reason you should help family. I'm asking you not to. You're going to do something important with your life, Junie Bug. Something you build with your own hands. And when you do, remember, the people who love you won't make you prove it. They won't keep track of what you owe. I'm proud of you. I always will be. Love. Dad. P. S. Document everything. I read it 3 times. Then I cried so hard I thought I'd break something inside my chest. The next morning, I called Marcus Brennan. He was 67 now, semi-retired. But he remembered my father. June Bellamy, he said warmly. I've been waiting for you to call. Your father set this up 14 years ago. The fund grew with interest. It's now worth $52,847. I have all the documentation here. Why didn't you contact me? Your father's instructions were clear. You had to come to me. He said you'd know when you were ready. I drove to his office that afternoon. He handed me a folder 2 inches thick, bank statements, investment records, a notarized letter from my father explaining that he'd saved this money secretly, that it was mine alone, that my mother had no legal claim to it. Did my mother ever ask about this? I said. Marcus shook his head. Your father never told her. He was worried she'd. He stopped tactfully. Take it and give it to Vanessa. His words were redirect it, but yes. I took the folder home, added it to my documentation. Now I had proof, not just of the recent fraud, but of my father's intentions, of what he wanted for me versus what my mother had decided I deserved. I still didn't confront anyone. I waited, because the holidays were coming, and I knew my mother. I knew she'd make a moment. She always did. Christmas Eve arrived. My mother was hosting dinner for 14 relatives at her house, the same house I'd grown up in, the house that still had my father's truck in the driveway because she refused to sell it. I almost didn't go, but Aunt Margot convinced me. Come, she'd said. Trust me. I drove to my mother's house at 6 p.m. The dining table was set for 14, ham in the oven. My mother was wearing her red holiday sweater and a smile that didn't reach her eyes when she saw me. June, you came. I came. Vanessa was already there with Derek and the twins. She didn't look at me. Derek shook my hand stiffly. My mother's sisters were there, Aunt Carol and Aunt Linda, my cousin Marcus, Vanessa's friend Ashley, Aunt Margot who winked at me when I sat down, and Ruth Bachman, Vanessa's neighbor, the woman who'd mentioned the roof repair to Aunt Margot. She'd been invited as a close family friend. Interesting. We made it through appetizers, through the ham, through the small talk about weather and work and the twins' preschool. Then my mother stood up to make a toast. She had a glass of wine in her hand and that look on her face, the one that meant a performance was coming. I just want to say how grateful I am to have my family together tonight, she began, especially because we have so much to celebrate. Vanessa and Derek just bought their beautiful home this year, and they're making such a wonderful life for those babies. Everyone clapped. Vanessa smiled modestly. My mother's eyes landed on me. And June, well, June's still figuring things out, still living in that little apartment, still doing her freelance work. She said it kindly, but the room heard the pity in her voice. But that's okay. Everyone moves at their own pace. Maybe one day you'll settle down like your sister. Maybe find a nice man. Get a real career. Buy a house. The room was very quiet. When will you settle down, June? My mother asked, taking a sip of wine. When will you stop being so focused on yourself and think about building something real? 14 people were looking at me, waiting. I set down my fork. I already did. My mother laughed. You already what? Settled down. I bought a house, 6 months ago, paid cash. The room went silent. Not quiet. Silent. My mother's smile froze. You what? I bought a 3-bedroom house on Hawthorne Street, closed on May 28th, all cash, no mortgage. I didn't invite anyone who doubts me, but Aunt Margot was there. She witnessed the closing. Aunt Margot raised her wine glass slightly. Beautiful house. I'm very proud of her. Vanessa's face went pale. How? I saved for 3 years, I said calmly. Every dollar I earned, every project I worked, I saved $145,000. I bought my house outright. It's mine. No one can ever take it from me. My mother set down her wine glass. Her hand was shaking. You had $145,000 and you didn't help your sister? I did help my sister, I said. I gave Vanessa $31,400 over the past 3 years, for emergencies that weren't emergencies. I have the spreadsheet. I have the dates. I have every Venmo receipt. Derek's face changed. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, opened my notes app, started reading. April 2022, $2,800 for Vanessa's car repair. No receipt provided. June 2022, $6,200 for mom's medical bills. No documentation. September 2022, $3,400 for Vanessa's dental emergency. She posted spa weekend photos that same week. January 2023, $4,800 for Derek's temporary layoff. But Derek, you were never laid off. Your LinkedIn shows continuous employment. Derek looked at Vanessa. What is she talking about? I kept going. November 2023, $4,200 for emergency roof repair at Vanessa's house. But Peterson and Sons Contracting has no record of any November service. They did routine maintenance at your house in April. Ruth, you mentioned that, didn't you? Ruth Bachman looked extremely uncomfortable. Yes, I did see contractors there in April. Vanessa said they got a 10-year warranty. Derek stood up. Vanessa, tell me she's lying. Vanessa's eyes were filling with tears. Derek, it's not… I was going to tell you… Tell me what? His voice was rising. That you've been asking your sister for money behind my back? That you lied about a roof leak? What else did you lie about? I needed help, Vanessa said. We needed a down payment, and Mom said June could afford it. So the roof money was for your down payment? I said. The money I was told was for an emergency contractor was actually for your house? My mother finally found her voice. You don't understand, June. Vanessa needed help. She was trying to build a life. And I wasn't? I said. My voice was still calm, unnervingly calm. I was trying to build a life too, but every time I saved money, you called it an emergency. Every time I said no, you told me Dad would be ashamed. You used him. You weaponized his memory to guilt me into funding Vanessa's life while telling me mine didn't matter. That's not true. I pulled out another paper from my bag. This is a letter from Dad, written 2 days before he died. He set up a college fund for me, $40,000 that you didn't know about. He specifically instructed his lawyer that you couldn't access it, that it was for me alone, because he knew you'd give it to Vanessa. I handed the letter to Aunt Margot. She read it aloud. The room was silent except for her voice. When she finished, my mother's face was white. Your father, he hid money from me? He protected money for me, I corrected, because he knew what you'd do, and he was right. Vanessa was crying now. I didn't know, June. I swear I didn't know Mom was… You knew, I said quietly. You knew every time you asked for help that I was saving for my own house. You knew every time Mom called it an emergency that you were spending it on things you wanted, not things you needed. You knew and you took it anyway. Derek was staring at his wife like he'd never seen her before. We have $23,000 in credit card debt. We're 3 months behind on the mortgage. And you've been asking your sister for money instead of telling me the truth? I was trying to fix it, Vanessa said. I didn't want you to think I couldn't manage. So you stole from your sister? It wasn't stealing. Family helps family. Not like this, Aunt Margot said quietly. Not with lies. My mother was shaking. You don't understand what it's like to raise 2 daughters alone. I did my best. Your best was telling me I'd never be as good as Vanessa, I said. Your best was using Dad's death to manipulate me. Your best was calling me selfish for wanting to save my own money for my own house. I never said you weren't good enough. You said it every day, I said. Every time you praised Vanessa for doing the bare minimum and ignored me for doing everything right. Every time you told me school came easy for me so it didn't count. Every time you said I was like Dad, cold, judgmental, critical. You said it without saying it. I stood up. I'm not here for revenge. I'm not here to humiliate anyone. I'm just done pretending. I bought a house. I built a career. I saved money. I did everything right. And the only reason you're upset is because I did it without your permission and without funding Vanessa's life anymore. Where are you going? My mother asked. Home, I said. To my house. The one I bought. With my money. That I earned. June, please. Merry Christmas, Mom. I walked out. Aunt Margot followed me. We sat in my car for a minute. She handed me a tissue, even though I wasn't crying. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "I think I actually am." "Your father would be so proud." "I know." The aftermath came slowly. Derek filed for separation from Vanessa in January. He'd discovered she'd hidden debt for 2 years. My mother tried calling me 17 times in 3 days. I didn't answer. She sent a letter. I didn't open it. Vanessa's Instagram went private. Ruth told Aunt Margot that Vanessa was selling the house, couldn't afford the mortgage without Derek's income and without my emergency funds. My mother's church group apparently heard the whole story. Several people quietly stopped associating with her. She blamed me for embarrassing the family. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt tired. In February, I went to visit my father's grave. I hadn't been in years. The headstone was simple. David Bellamy, beloved father, 1966 to 2010. I sat in the grass. "I bought a house, Dad. 3 bedrooms, yellow kitchen. I paid cash. Just like you taught me." The wind blew. That's all. Just wind. "I'm not angry anymore," I said. "I'm just done. Done trying to earn love from people who made it a debt. Done keeping myself small so Vanessa could feel big. Done apologizing for being good at things." I stayed there for an hour. Then I drove home. My home. 6 months later, I'm writing this from my office. The one with the morning light. I have a new client, a tech startup that's paying me $28,000 for a 6-month project. I adopted a cat. Her name is Clementine. Aunt Margot comes over every Sunday. We cook dinner together. My mother sent me a birthday card last month. It said, "I'm sorry if I hurt you. I only wanted what was best." Note the if. Note the only. I didn't respond. Vanessa sent me a friend request on Facebook 3 weeks ago. I didn't accept. Derek sent me a message. "Thank you for telling the truth. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." I replied, "I hope you're okay." He said, "Getting there." I'm not waiting for an apology. I'm not waiting for my mother to admit she was wrong. I'm not waiting for Vanessa to acknowledge what she took from me. I'm just living my life. In my house. With my cat. Building my business. Saving my money. On my own terms. If you're watching this, I want you to understand something important. Family isn't supposed to cost you your peace. Love isn't supposed to come with a ledger. And the people who truly care about you won't make you prove your worth by emptying your bank account. Here's what my father taught me that my mother tried to make me forget. You don't owe anyone your suffering. You don't owe anyone your silence. And you definitely don't owe anyone access to your life when they've proven they'll only use it to take from you. If you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping yourself intact, type "I chose myself" in the comments. Or if you're still figuring out how to set those boundaries, type "I'm learning." Both are valid. Both take courage. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. And if you don't, I hope you're somewhere warm and safe, wherever you are. I'm sitting here now in my yellow kitchen, drinking coffee from my expensive machine, watching snow fall through my window, in my house, that I bought, that no one can take from me. Clementine is purring on my lap. I've got a client call in 30 minutes. Tonight, Aunt Margot's coming over and we're making Dad's spaghetti recipe, the one with the secret ingredient he'd never tell my mother. I finally opened that red toolbox again last week. Put it on a shelf in my office where I can see it every day. Next to my father's letter. Next to my house deed. Some people say forgiveness sets you free. Maybe that's true for them. But here's what I learned. Boundaries set you free. Clarity sets you free. Walking away from people who treat your kindness like a currency, that sets you free. I'm not bitter. I'm not broken. I'm just done. And honestly, that's the best Christmas gift I could have given myself.